A collection of trauma narratives blog by SharnyP, the wounded healer, offering unimaginable transformation. This is the prologue. What would you dare to do? I had registered for this meetup once before, over 3 months ago. I want you to try a group or an outing this week, Charnel. You need to connect with others, especially during this time of loss. I hear my therapist's words of encouragement on repeat as I try to convince myself to attend this online writing group. I decided that I want change and that change is what I will have. So I tell myself, you are going to that Zoom meeting. Put on your best shirt and find some pants. I roll my eyes at my own inner voice and click register. It's 7 a.m. and the group isn't until 10 a.m. I spent my morning, as usual, dancing and sipping coffee in between puffs of Mary Jane in my bra and panties. Before you knew it, my phone sounds giving me the 10-minute warning that the Zoom meeting is scheduled to begin soon. I hit snooze and try to use the last 9 minutes to continue reminding myself I am committed to attending. Well, lost in another song, I don't sign in until 10:08 a.m., which is the equivalent into walking into church after the pastor has begun preaching. At least that's what my anxiety compares it to. I practically fall sitting down while trying to put on pants last minute in any shirt that was not a tank top. I put on an awkward smile, not having a real excuse as to being late. Being in California all my life, I was stumped when I couldn't blame traffic as my time thief. So I wave and hope much attention isn't placed on me. I find some relief in knowing that I'm not the only new addition today. The facilitator goes on to explain the flow of the group, and my eyes begin to light up as if I just entered a room full of my favorite celebrities. The freedom she spoke of in a group of people seemed unheard of. There were so many different options to work on, like a book, a script, journal entries, poems, short stories, and just plain random thoughts. So many options to choose from, I became slightly overwhelmed on what to create. I hear the facilitator and another participant is going to use meditation as a source of direction. I decided that's a great start. I grab my African Goddess Rising tarot cards. I take another puff of Mary Jane. As I let out a cloudy exhale, I ask God, the universe, my angels, and the Holy Spirit to use the cards to speak to me in a language I can understand. Typically, I would have a set of questions I would like answered, and the card laid in the order of the corresponding question was the answer. This time, my question was, what do you want me to know? This time, instead of shuffling to cut, I would shuffle until a card falls out. This is referred to as a card jumping out. The first card that jumped out was Oya, storms. Oya acknowledged that when change happens, it can seem like a storm, and I'm in the midst of my storm. To be mindful that I'm choosing my actions and not a victim to them, reminding me that I am the one holding myself back, and negative self-talk is self-harm. To honor my feelings and to use self-compassion. The second and final card that jumped out was Satira, brazen. I was being encouraged to be brazen. I was told it was brazen to be unapologetically yourself. Then I was asked, what would you dare to do if you knew you couldn't fail? Tell my story. This response was so genuine and true, it came forced out, accompanied with uncontrollable tears. My chest sinks in and my heart speeds up. There's anxiety again, here to reinforce my fear at failing at telling my own story. However, logic confronts anxiety with both arms folded, questioning, how could the only full-time viewer fail at telling her own story? I pause, step back, peek around logic's brief protection, and look at anxiety with a tilted stare and repeat, yeah, how do I fail at telling my own story? But see, anxiety is quick on their feet and can't be so easily confronted. Anxiety responds with a smirk, you can't, dummy. Only you believe that, and I agreed, but you're too stupid to even come up with ways on how you can fail at telling your own story. Something you said you could fail at. Who am I to say different? Now you look like a complete fool. Is that what you want people to know? My sudden urge to challenge anxiety is weakened, and solitude seems to be the only relief. Solitude welcomes me with open arms and silence. Yet self-compassion grabs me by the hand and reminds me that my story holds several years of ongoing trauma. Telling even one part can be dangerous, resulting in being re-traumatized. And you want to take on telling all of yours for others. You are asking to be put on the cross for display. Others will have opinions and views, but none of that changes the facts of your story. Self-compassion's holding of my hand smoothly dissolves into a full embrace of comfort. While cuddled in the new feelings of self-kindness, words continue to be spoken from a source unknown. This source continued to reinforce self-compassion's stance by stating, sharing facts, truths that are true to you, is the only way at not failing at telling your story. Leaving out key details of vulnerable moments discredits my ability as the higher power that orders your steps. I want credit for the protection I have constantly provided you over the years. Not because it is that much more of my other children, but because you can communicate your story in a fashion where they can see I have shown up for them too. Sharing your story is what gives you permission to be vulnerable, to be seen, to be validated, to be considered, and to be sought after. Your inner light does not just draw those dim in theirs. You provide a spark, a jolt to who they are. And that kind of love will always be sought after to be controlled and extinguished. You must move forward understanding you are loving on spirits within the people of this world. The spirits and souls do not get to pick the vessels or necessarily all of its vessels' choices, which is the inner turmoil most can never seem to master, which is why spirits can be high and low and souls be sold and flushed back to dust. It is when three are in harmony, peace arrives, which is the three gathered in my name. The three can be gathered in one vessel. So, Charnel, I am going to need you to take the task of telling your story more seriously. There are people that not only want to hear it, but will be able to heal from it. And as you stated so many times before, you don't want to control the masses. You want to attract the masses. Well, your story is your I'm here sign. Go ahead and turn your light on. Click.